Hi everybody, Becky here from Bambinos and Me. So this class is to let you know all about the positive aspects of tummy time. So if you have done one of my baby massage courses, you will have done the class on a back massage. And that's one of my favourite classes to teach because I love talking about tummy time, because there are so many different benefits and there's also so many activities that you can do to support baby. So obviously I touched on that in my baby massage teacher training, but I've recently done an advanced tummy time practitioner course, and I have to say that I wish I had done this course when I had my girls, because there are so many benefits to tummy time, and also there's so many different things that we can be doing to encourage that that want to do tummy time, if you like, because quite a lot of babies don't like tummy time, and we're trying to change that and try and make tummy time a more positive experience for babies. So quite a lot of babies now have less time on their tummy because babies sleep on their back for safety, and they're in car seats, and we're out in buggies a lot, we're much busier. They'd have less time to be on their front. So when babies are in the womb, they are in a flex position to support baby, and then when they come out, often the back and the neck and the shoulders are the last part on baby to develop, because they're not, they haven't been given that opportunity. So that's what we want to change. So that's what we want to give babies, lots of different experiences of being on their front, but enjoying it. So that's the main thing. So that is why this workshop may help some of you. If you have a baby who's very young, tummy time can be done from birth, but obviously this is also suitable for older babies as well. But I will talk to you about certain holds and activities that are aimed at either younger or older babies. But our aim is that we have babies sleeping on their back and we have babies playing on their front. So from birth, babies can go onto their tummy, but we are trying to build it up very, very gradually. So a minute is amazing. But we do want this to be fun and enjoyable. And the aim is that you very much are part of this. So baby would never be left on their own. And it's a very nice experience for you as well, because you can get right down on the floor with baby. Now, if you're still recovering from birth or a C-section, I will show you a couple of things where you don't need to get right down on the floor. But it's just a few really nice activities that you can do with baby. Now, I may talk about mummy, but obviously I mean daddy as well, or whoever the main caregiver is. So I'm just going to talk about the benefits to start with. So obviously when we do tummy time, we are developing the strength in baby's spine, so it's supporting the curvature of the spine, and we're also developing the muscles, so in the neck, in the back and the tummy as well. So this is what we mean when we talk about the core. Now, because baby's skull is very, very precious, and for a lot of you will know about the fontanelle, which is at the top of the head. That can take up to 2 years to be fully formed. So that's why babies are more likely to have an accident. If they have an accident, they're more likely to hurt their head. And that's why when babies are on their back quite a lot, we need to be making sure that babies also get experience on their front, because otherwise the skull is quite likely to get what we call a flat head. Now, this is not meant to scare, it's just to make you aware that if babies do have flat head, what we call flat head syndrome, occasionally that can mean that baby might have other problems as well within the brain. So you can see why it's so important to make sure that we do a lot of tummy time with our babies to prevent that from happening. So it also supports babies' breathing, because when babies are on their tummies, on their chests, on the rib and the diaphragm, it's actually encouraging breathing, because the diaphragm is getting in the correct position. So we're putting pressure down, but also babies then start to go against gravity, if you like. So it's really great for developing breathing, optimal breathing as well. So it supports sensory processing and integration needed for coordination. So we're supporting the vestibular system as well. Now it's also very good for getting ready for school. So that might seem a bit strange when you've got this tiny little one and you're thinking about school. But if babies haven't developed their core, then sitting at a desk for quite a long period of time, or it might even just be sitting on the floor having a story, can get quite uncomfortable for those children. And so then you find that they start to not have a lot of concentration because they're uncomfortable and they haven't got that strength. And then that's where you can see that their learning could be affected if they can't concentrate in a class environment. So that's why tummy time is very important from birth, and it continues to support children when they're that little bit older as well. So it can be done from birth, like I keep saying, but we can adapt it and we can keep changing it to support baby. So for instance, I'm going to show you a way in a bit where we can put a blanket under baby's tummy, and then we can just keep lowering that blanket as baby gets a little bit older and needs less support from us. So we can just adapt things to meet the needs of each individual baby. So a healthy baby is really what this workshop is aimed at. Now, if baby has any health medical conditions, then you really need to contact your practitioner. Do feel free to pop me an email at hello@bambinosandme.co.uk, and then I can just advise you on if there's any certain positions that you shouldn't be doing or how we can adapt it for baby. So what we are aiming with a healthy baby from birth is 1 to 5 minutes, about 3 to 4 times a day. But this is very gradual. So if that doesn't quite work for baby, we just slow it down. It's all about meeting your baby's individual needs and making this a fun and happy time for them. So when a baby is about 3 months, we're looking at about 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day. Now again, that doesn't have to be all in one go. It can be in small, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It really depends on baby. So the other thing to mention is if you're doing tummy time and your baby hasn't really moved for about 20 minutes, they're quite happy, but they're just playing. And if they can't move themselves, then we would just advise you to just change the position for baby, just to make sure that they're not getting too stiff in one particular position. Okay, so we've talked about all the benefits. So I'm going to just show you a few holds now, and some of these can be done from birth. So a particular one that is really lovely, and you may not really associate it as doing tummy time, is that if you are lying down on your back and you put baby onto your chest, this is classed as tummy time because baby is in that position lying on you. It's a lovely time to do skin to skin. It's a lovely time to just stop and just do some deep breathing with baby, just having a lovely cuddle, just building all that bonding, that connection time, and it's a great time to do tummy time as well. So another one, particularly with very young babies, you might want to put baby on your lap. So just making sure that baby has no blocked airways at all, and you can just give, I'll just raise up my leg a little bit, so you can just give baby a little bit of a stroke. And these are really good, particularly for young babies that don't like to be away from mum at the moment, but we're still giving them all those lovely benefits of tummy time. Okay, then one of my favourite holds is called Tiger in the Tree. So you will have probably seen this if you come to one of my classes. So we make sure that the head is supported by the arm, the head and the shoulders, and baby is all in a straight line, and we have one hand on our tummy and then the other hand just goes between the legs, and it's just giving that extra bit of support. So again, this might be a nice one that you might like to do skin to skin. But as you can see, baby is off their back and they're getting some nice tummy time. So this is also a really good pose, hold, that I tell my mummies if baby is quite unsettled or fractious at all. And also if you know baby is suffering from any tummy troubles, because you can just gently put a little bit of pressure on the tummy. Now this is a nice one to walk around, so we call this meet and greet. So you might just like to walk around the room. You might just like to bring them up very, very gently. You can see that they're still getting support, and just introduce them to other family members. And then another one is just when you're just slowly walking around and just talking to baby about all the different things that you can see or things that you're going to do. And it's just a nice way. Sorry, I'm spreading baby's legs a bit too much. It's just a nice way of building communication skills as well for baby. So another one that we do, which is called Easy Aeroplane. So this is probably suitable from about 2 to 4 weeks. So what we do is that we just bend our knees, and then we just put baby, you make sure that you're supported nicely, and we just put baby over our knees like this, making sure that the arms are hanging down, making sure that they the airways aren't blocked at all. Now you might like to just gently bring up baby, but we're not pushing, not putting any force on baby, and we can just gradually slowly take that away as baby gets older. Now for older babies, they also quite like this. Ooh. Older babies like this as well, but we can bring a few more toys in. So we might like to bring a little ribbon in to try and encourage baby to stretch out a little bit. So that's just showing you how we can use one thing for different age or different stages of baby. Now I am going to get my blanket, and I'm going to show you a way of using a blanket and giving baby support with a blanket. So we just literally roll up a blanket, and then we make, we make a U shape, or a horseshoe, sorry. So then we put our baby, I'll move the camera in a minute to show you. So we're just putting it under baby, so they've just got a little bit of support. hopefully you can see that. Okay, and then as I said, we would then always make sure that there's, you might have some nice little rattles, you might have a musical instrument. So we wouldn't ever just put baby down on the floor, because that is quite, makes baby feel quite vulnerable, can be quite frightening for baby. Babies always need to be seeing you as well. So you can lie down on the floor with them. You could be making sure you're doing some nice, if you imagine that I'm lying down on the floor and you're looking straight at baby as well, because baby always wants to see you, and feels much safer and calmer when they're not just plonked down on the floor. So we want to make this as fun and as interesting. Now, if you're recovering from a C-section or labour, then you may not want to be getting down on the floor at this stage. So if that's the case, then what you can do is, if you can imagine that my chair, let's move that bit of paper, don't need that. If my chair is a bed, so this is the end of a bed, well, not the end of the bed, this is a bed, and there's no bedding on the bed, so completely safe for baby. So this is a way that babies can do tummy time, but without you getting right down on the floor to support baby. So you could be sitting here opposite baby, and just slowly encouraging baby to chat to you, singing to baby, whispering little sweet nothings in baby's ear, whatever you fancy. This is just a nice way for you to get up and close to baby without you getting down onto the floor. Now obviously you wouldn't leave baby alone for any time on a bed, but it's also the same for the floor as well, because sometimes babies have a physiological part, like a reflex, if you like, that they can just roll at any time, very randomly. Doesn't mean they've started rolling. It can just happen at any time. So if you leave the room and baby rolls over, even on the floor, they might get quite upset, which is obviously what we don't want, because we want babies to have a love of tummy time. Now obviously with your older babies, they may be more mobile like this, so we could be having mirrors up in front of baby. We might have scarves, peek-a-boo, baby. So just again, so you can see how we can bring in more for the older babies. Okay, so I'm just trying to work out what I've told you. Okay, so another which you may have already is a water play mat, and those are great, and you can get them quite cheaply. You just fill it up with water and babies can just safely splash. Another good one I saw was putting a baby in like a little, this is for older babies, sorry, I should say. So we're talking about 6 months, putting babies in like a little dinghy, and pulling babies along with them on the front on the dinghy, but this is without water, obviously. So that is a few things to show you. Another one is a really good one, is using a ball. So I'll show you with my little baby. Oh, let me just move those things out of the way. So this can be done from about 3 months. So we are trying to incorporate some little fun activities, and we're making sure that the hands are hanging down tummy is secure. And for younger babies, we always make sure that we have 2 hands on baby, and we're just gently rolling baby. Now it's important that if it's a little ball, you might be sitting like I am, or you might be on your knees. But what we don't want to be happening is you stretching. So it's important that you're also rolling with baby as well. Now again, this is something that older babies may prefer as well. So it's always important that whatever age, we're never leaving babies on this without us touching them. So again, you might want to hold baby with just one hand, and then you can bring more little toy aspects into play, or little ribbons, little shakers, trying to encourage babies to reach out and grab the toy as well. So let me just move that out of the way. Okay, so another great way of encouraging babies tummy time and literacy communication is by Fabulous Hard books. So if babies are on their tummy happy, you can start by having the books under them, and then just try and just have the book up. So instead of babies just looking flat down, you're encouraging babies to start looking up, and then therefore strengthening the shoulders. Now, another nice one, I mean, you could set up a little book area for babies, because as we all know, it's vital that we read to babies as young as possible. But you might want to have some photos and laminate photos, maybe have it on a little bit of a wall of family members so babies can start looking at those photos. Another great one is mirrors, play mirrors. So obviously this is a plastic mirror, which you may not have. So you may have just a normal mirror, and they're great as well. So a lovely thing to do if you have a mirror and if you have a parachute or a scarf is just popping baby in front of the mirror. This is probably for babies that can sit up or lie down, whatever. If they're comfortable, you could still do this one as well. So if you imagine that the baby is lying down looking at the mirror, and then you can just gently put the scarf down on them or the parachute down on them and just watching their reaction. That's a lovely one as well. Let's move that. Another one for with young babies, so from birth, you could be doing puppet show for them maybe. You could have a little puppet show for babies when they're on their tummies. Back massage is really lovely, or just gently just having, like we talked about, just having a nice little stroke when babies are on you. Or you might put them on your lap and you're just going to have a gentle bounce, obviously just making sure that airways are clear at all times. Okay, so from let me think what I was going to say. Okay, so from about 2 to 3 months, you could do, if you have any little fairy lights, you could pop them on and you could put a muslin over the top so babies aren't likely to chew them directly. That's quite a nice little one for babies. You might want to have a silver foil. So this is particularly great for all ages, and they can just lie on this. But probably this might be a bit more suitable from 3 months, but it really depends on your baby. So you can maybe just lie on this, and they can just slowly explore this while they're doing some tummy time. So another one you can do where you can make your own sensory bags or bottles. So you might have seen that on one of my other play workshops, where you get you can either get sandwich bags that have the seal, or you can get laminating pouches and you use hair straighteners around the sides to completely seal it. Again, you would never leave a baby on their own with any of these things, just in case. Or you might get, you can make your own sensory bottles.